Yup. Wednesday night, Central Lab Show, Icon Radio. The home of quality independent music. Make sure you go get the app, download the app free for your iPhone, Android, Google Play Store, App Store, all that. And make sure you get the Icon Radio app so you can hear me in the show.
The station that cares.
Yes. Quality independent music. Mr. Respect the Underground, the mayor of the Underground. Is that what they call you? Justice?
That's what the mayor of Phoenix called me, so I'm sticking
He'll take
to
that.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah, why not? We also got Jordan Jackson in the building.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
What's
Hey.
The business-minded financial planning, advising, everything that
Can we say former
we all
artist?
need.
Can we say former artist?
Former make it sound old.
Hey, artist currently on hiatus is more accurate.
Hopefully for a short time we'll be back at it.
Yeah, you always have had a really gracious, way about you and your personality. Very grateful. You know what I'm saying? Very humble. You know what I'm saying? Is that just how you've always been?
Had you met me, years ago, completely different person, man. I think it's a testament to God's grace in my life, honestly, man, and also seeing, people who I look up to who are maybe more successful just move way differently,
Right. You've been focusing on some different things. Why don't you explain that a
Ultimately,
little bit?
man, what I do is I use my gifts, man, as best as possible to love God, love neighbor, man. That's what I do. So at times it's rapping, at times it's helping people start businesses. Right now it's me starting my own business to leverage, really my talents and gifts in a way as best as possible for my community. That's the focus.
You're involved with a nonprofit that helps people get startup.
I am, man. Shout outs to Hustle Phoenix, hustlephx.com, man. Y'all listeners could go there and figure out how to start a business, get the capital for it, and have the mentors to come alongside with, man. So one-stop shop to get things moving.
That's a beautiful thing. And is that's available to anybody?
It is available to anybody, man. We have focuses for sure in South Phoenix and the West Side, a couple other pockets, but anybody can get it anywhere. The goal was really, shout out to my dude Oye, who started the organization, is to take hustlers and allow them to transition to something, legitimate, something that's going to be positive to the community instead of taking away, while still using those same skills and risk-taking ability. You feel me?
Absolutely. And I feel like a businessman is a businessman. You know what I'm saying?
And Gary Vee said that the hustlers who were anti-prohibition in the early marijuana days were the epitome of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He's like you was out there hustling. You're a real entrepreneur.
Man, Gary Vee's that guy, man.
If someone comes to you and says, "This is what I want to do," or maybe they don't know what they want to do, where do you point them? How do you start somebody? What should they expect to hear from you?
Yeah. So it depends on where you at. Sometimes we take existing businesses and they need help, or sometimes you got an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not for real a business. It's like a nonprofit, or you're trying to get a side hustle or grow your side hustle to the full time. So it's comprehensive. No matter where you at, you can plug in, tap in, and make something happen. But ultimately, it comes down to your individual why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Is this something that's actually a need that you could capitalize on? Are you already making money doing this? So it varies.
Okay. You have a real passion for helping your community.
Who inspired that?
Yeah.
And one person in particular that I want to shout out, man, who's absolutely a legend in my heart. And as long as I'm here, I'm gonna try to keep his name in the lights. Encourage others to do so too, man. Tyke Patterson, well known as Trap House, man.
Yep.
So
definitely a legend around here, and we all feel the same way. When it comes to him and not only the music, but more importantly what he meant to the community.
Absolutely.
He sat in this room many times.
Man, so I met this man, about 13 years ago, man, and it's just great to see an individual come from an environment that didn't engulf him. Instead, he looked as any shot caller would, like, man, this is something I get to influence and change and have positive. That's the first time I've seen someone like him do that.
Yeah.
And at a time in my life, man, that was super crucial for me to see someone do it on the positive side, man, and that was life changing for sure.
So how did the relationship continue? What kind of relationship was it?
Yeah, we met initially because we used to work together at a call center, and so we kind of knew of each other for a while, but didn't link up until we met each other out and about.
Yeah.
And then we realized maybe we had some similar interests, and that's when we really started plugging in. At the time, he was selling cars, and that was something my pops had got into, something I had dabbled with, and he really helped me elevate that game, to a higher level. And then we kind of, that was before social media, before pictures. We talking like '08, even Phoenix itself, '07. It was '06. It was just way different.
Yeah.
The commerce, the street light, everything was different. There was taxi cabs around and, things like that. We used to talk about, what would happen when you get a deal. Like, ain't nobody trying to get a deal right now.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a different time. And watching him do his music thing, I kind of went separate ways and kind of did my own thing. We reconnected later on, once he was more, he was the trap house at that time.
Yeah. So what about it ultimately do you feel he did or shared with you that really inspired you to do what you're doing now?
Yeah, he really, I think in a way took me under his wing and was like, man, this is how I'm getting it over here. And he was familiar with me, just a young hustler trying to figure out what I'm a get into.
Yeah.
But seeing what he did with the cars, knowing that same skill set that he had could have been used for other things, and Tyke, was never on that at all. Like, my dude didn't even drink for real, so.
I never saw him take a drink in my life.
Word. So, seeing someone from his environment come up to make it in a sense where it's on display for people to see,
yeah,
and it's always positive, absolutely, it inspired me, and I see myself in that, even then, but certainly now, with what it is I'm able to shape and take control over.
Crazy, but when we look at the things that the trap inspired and influenced is impressive.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And,
absolutely.
And maybe we took it for granted, you know what I'm saying, because it was like that's what he did, that's who he was. But like, you can't compare him to really anybody. I can't.
Truly,
you know
man.
What I'm saying?
And I feel like it's individuals like that we get for a time, man. This prophets. And we just lost another one, man.
Yeah.
It's important for us as a people to acknowledge
and recognize
to recognize and to and I told Tyke this before he passed, man. Like, I give you your flowers while you're alive, bro. I see you. So it's important to see the goodness in other people and be able to encourage that. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to make sure Justice was up here, bro, because I see you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna make sure you get your flowers. It's for the living. You know what I mean? When you can smell it, it's important to acknowledge those amongst us who are doing things at an ultimate level. Like, this is who we should be. Like, this is the way the culture should move forward. And it's leaders that take it upon themselves, and that's what Tyke did, bro.
Yeah, and and he never asked for anything in return. It was just kind of like, it's what he did.
No, I mean, he moved too quick. He moved too fast. He get done with one thing and he was already on to 4 more. So like, he didn't have the time to like reflect or be like, look at me. He never had like a selfish motive. It was always a genuine. Yeah. It came from a genuine.
I remember,
place.
and we
Vegas
have
for the week, man.
Yeah, exactly. There's a clip that I love. We have it on the Facebook page of when one of the last times Trap was here in the studio with the interview, and he just had a very humbleness about him. And I remember asking him, like, Trap, like, why so humble? Why are you always so humble? I remember Myra was here, my co-host at the time. She has the same thing.
Oh my God, you're the most humble guy like ever.
Yeah, and I said, Trap, why so humble? And he responded with, who am I above that? And I've never, and even that response to me was like the most humble response you could have to a question like that. And it's just like, like you said, we really have to recognize those individuals, while they're here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And man, even for your artists that's listening and stuff, like, man, go ahead and sample his music and throw that on your new records and stuff. Like, I feel like Arizona doesn't have a sound that's nationally known. And I think when I think of Arizona rap music, Tyke's absolutely a leader of that, and I feel like
he was a pillar, absolutely.
For sure.
There's a lot of things financially for people to, especially, coming from certain parts of the community, people just don't have the education or the knowledge or the resources to get that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you're in a position to provide those things, and it's very important to you. What are some of the main things that you can talk to people about when it comes to maybe money management or saving or you know what I mean, protecting funds and things like that?
For sure. My office is on Baseline in 27th Avenue, and we opened that location there for a specific purpose, man. We want to protect and grow the assets in my community. Every single weekend, I'll drive past 7th Avenue in Southern. It's a car wash, similar to a GoFundMe, man. People don't have the funds to even bury someone. And, you know, if that person was a breadwinner, that's devastating for a family. Long term, I'm talking generational impacts.
Yeah.
And so for something like maybe $20 a month, you're able to preserve your income for generations, man. That's absolutely life-changing to a community, to a family, and that's a service that we offer.
Okay.
Yeah. So State Farm Insurance Agent, been open for 10 months, 10 years with State Farm, and ultimately, man, it's about ownership. We teach, homeowner classes right now. We got them going on almost every weekend. There's a lot of opportunities.
How to become a homeowner?
Absolutely. How to buy a home for the first time.
You show me that you could throw as little as 3% down or whatever.
Yeah, 3% down. Savings, making sure that your monthly obligations are down, and we've got great people to refer people to for credit, for lending, and things like that. But ultimately, it's us deciding as a community what our destiny is going to be, and that happens through ownership.
So you put me up on game. I wasn't aware that when you have like a policy, like I call it $1 million policy, whatever you put into that policy monthly, say you outlive that policy and you live to be 85, they cash you out.
Yeah, it's called a return of premium.
Every dime you gave them, you get back with interest. So you get more money back. And because you outlived that policy, well, you don't need it. You're cool. You're still kicking.
Great around retirement
And I had
time,
no
especially.
idea of that, and I'm terrible at saving money. I'm great at investing, but I'm terrible at tucking bread and actually leaving it.
Yeah, and as entrepreneurs, it's very difficult, to be successful and provide just enough income to pay bills sometimes, much less save. So what are some some tips on doing that?
Yeah, for sure. Setting aside money each month specifically for this purpose. Call it legacy planning. You get a coffee, you buy a bag, whatever you're doing, you can contribute some of those dollars each month. A lot of times, parents will say, set aside maybe $100 a month for savings. You could actually fund your life policy that way. And as Justice was talking about with the return of premium, you can cash it out if you outlive it. But if not, it was in place to fulfill the dreams that you have for your family, whether it's college, whether you want your kid to start a business, pay off some debt, whatever.
$1 million is a whole lot cheaper than, it's very tangible.
Absolutely. And so actual practical steps, man, is dedicate yourself to the idea, the concept of saving for the next generation. And even start at something as small as $20 a month will mean the world to your family if you were to pass away, believe it.
Yeah. And like you said, it sounds cool to say, but it's something that can really affect generation, and we're talking like your kids and their kids.
Absolutely. Man, imagine what it'd be like, and I don't know your situation, but imagine if you came in the game a couple $100,000 strong or $1 million strong. Perhaps your life trajectory and decisions and different things that you could do would have been larger.
Yeah.
So absolutely, man, something to consider and determine, the outcome for even your future generations. Everybody with your last name, that's what you hustling for.
Like nothing surprises me anymore, like it used to. I can't really watch the news anymore because it is depressing.
We get sent a GoFundMe once a week that people ask us to share from the company page. And like people take it a certain type of way when we're like, man, like we just shared one a couple days ago. Like, not that I didn't want to share it, it was just, it saddened me. I had to.
Yeah.
And like I'm hiding things from my wife every day that I find out in the community that I just don't tell her. I used to tell her all the time, and it saddens her. So I keep it to myself. But like, this shit is so momentary.
Yeah.
It really is, man. And invest in yourself, especially while you're young, while you're healthy, before you're sick. Like, you're able to solidify a rate for yourself that your future self will be thankful for. As you're listening to this, what do you pay a month for insurance? If that's $100, man, you're paying for a car to get you from point A to point B. Invest in yourself, man. If you think about it, if you work a minimum wage job over the next 30 years, that might be $750,000. This is your worth to your family. And to be able to cover that risk for something as small as $20, $30 a month, and you paying $100 for something that's depreciating in value, that won't ever make you more money, Man, it's a no-brainer. Your ability to earn income will increase as you gain age, but as you gain age, you're closer to death. So every year you get older, it gets more expensive.
I mean, do things ever change as far as like the amounts of money or the percentages on returns or anything like that?
It does change. We have guaranteed values that we demonstrate. You know, if you have a cash value policy that's gaining, you know, the company that I work for has consistently shown that we do far better than what we project to you. Yeah, is that answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot to it. There's different types of policies that have different type of features, but ultimately, man, get covered.
Okay.
Holler at me, talk to me.
Yeah, what's the best way to get a hold of you? And I mean, do you discuss this stuff over social media?
Instagram at Protect and Grow.
Okay.
Website is southmountaininsurance.com. You know, phone number 602-601-7404. I'm on Baseline and 27th Avenue. We do free coffee every day, open 6 days a week. Holler.
Yeah. Jordan Jacques,
So,
appreciate you coming in.
oh man, always.
And you know,